Good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? Welcome to our show, I call it. My name is Penny. If you're finding me for the first time, as you come in, please share this video. And I just pinned my YouTube channel in case you have friends and family who are not on Facebook but on YouTube. So after I do a video here, I move it to YouTube for easy access. I do that for security reasons, because YouTube is still like a safe free space, because Facebook with the hackers, you can wake up one morning and you don't have an account. So after I finish this video, you'll find it on YouTube. Please go there and subscribe to my YouTube channel and invite your friends so we can all learn from regular people who are dealing with regular problems. So I didn't come here for 2 days. On Monday I wasn't able to come. On Tuesday, which was yesterday, I was sick. So thank God I'm feeling a little better today, but I was not feeling well. So I didn't feel productive, and you know, because I'm a regular person, I was like, you know what, I don't have to talk today. And because the topic I wanted to talk about was about men, so I figured I should wait when I'm feeling a little better. So today we want to talk about our men. So if you're finding me for the first time, my goal here is to try and educate you. If there is one thing you can learn one thing. If I can help you get inspired, please be inspired. If I can help you to learn something that is going to help you bring your family together, please do that. Agnes, good morning. Grace, good morning. I see you guys. We want to talk about our men. When I talk about our men, not only Kenyan men, because I see Kenyan men, that's who I interact with. I see Liberian men, I see Sierra Leonean men, I see American men. As time has changed, our men have, like, oh my goodness, they've lost it. We've lost our men because our men don't feel as valued as they're supposed to. And our men are no longer the men that we used to see, the kind of men our fathers were. I remember growing up, my father was literally in charge of our family. He was the head of the home. Whatever he said went. People would say that was dictatorship, but if you really look at the Bible from the beginning, God made Adam first. He put him in the Garden of Eden, and when he finished everything, he brought the woman. So you can imagine something that people never think about. When a man marries a woman, by the time a husband went to find me and bring me to his home, he had finished the whole home. Everything is built. We don't take our men from their homes to take them to our homes. And we get it twisted, and that's why we're having all these problems. Because you know what? A man marries you. A man is like an employer. A man has an organization. When Adam came, when Adam decided to, God decided to give Adam a wife, the whole home was complete. So Eve was just to come there and get started. And that is what we forget. We forget that men ask us out, we agree, and they hire us for those positions. And once you're hired as a wife, your job is to sit there and try and organize that home as an assistant. But now, the men have lost it. Men were providers. Like, they were the ones who provided, because you know what, they had it. Why was a man a provider? If I left Nyando Chebere without anything, with just my clothing, and went to Mwinzau, there is land there. So automatically my husband became a provider. Men are supposed to be protectors, because you know what? Look at all the construction, look at all the heavy duty jobs. There are jobs, whether you like it or not, a woman is not going to do those jobs. Men are to protect us because they are stronger. Your husband is to make sure that nobody is attacking you because he brought you. You are his employee. My husband has married me from Nyando Chebere. I'm in Winzao now. He has to protect me from all the in-laws. He has to protect me from everything that is happening. You understand? A man is supposed to be a provider, a protector, to make sure that I'm okay. Now, We have men, I don't know when they lost it. We have men who don't feel respected. We have men who don't feel valued. We have men who don't feel like they have any strength. We have men who are just there, just waiting to die. They've given up. They don't feel like they want to be providing. They don't feel like they want to protect their wives. They just don't care. We cannot do without our men. I want people to be reminded that as much as we are thinking we can do without men, we cannot do without men. Women, you are not a mother without a man. Women, you are not who you are without a man. There are things you're not going to change whether you like it or not. We have to try and open our eyes and see that we are losing our men. We are losing our men to alcohol. We are losing our men to being promiscuous out here. We are losing our men to side chicks. We are losing our men to depression. We are losing our men to suicide. Because hard times are supposed to create strong men. Men were supposed to be there to protect, to make sure even there was war. Women never went to war. Because you know what? We get married and before we know it, we take each other for granted. Now that we move from Africa, we live in America. In America, the law protects the women, the children, the animals, and then the men come last. So there are men that we have lost to the system because you know what? Once the women figure that out, that they have power over the men, that's it. Because now I'm no longer in my husband's village. I'm in America. So I take matters in my own hands. And you know what? Women adapt fast. When they leave their homes, they come to a country. They know the rules. They follow everything. So they get the upper hand. Before you know it, our men are in the trash can. And we are not able to remove them from the trash can. When they come here, most of them don't even end up going to school. Most of them don't have good credit. Most of them don't have good jobs. They just feel useless. Meanwhile, the women have adapted very fast and they're getting this, they're getting that, they're getting this. Women are up and quick the way we were supposed to be. We are still doing the same things we were meant to do, adapting to change very fast. And we leave our men behind. Our Kenyan men are like, my goodness, I don't know how many Kenyan men I can tell you right now in America that are homeless here in New Jersey. They have nothing. And they are crying from the warehouses. They are crying from people's basements. They are crying. They are blaming the women that they brought here. Some of them brought women here. And when they got here, those women left them. But it's not because, you know, they were the best men. No, because they were abusing alcohol. Because they lost themselves. They have nothing. They are not providers. They are not protectors. They're not worried about the family. Some of our men here don't care about their families. And eventually when the women get tired and go, now they want to blame the women. But men, let me speak to you this morning. You cannot blame a woman that God created and put in the Garden of Eden, a garden that was complete. Everything was there. When my husband came to ask me out, I expected him to protect me. I expected him to provide for me. So when you marry these women and you're expecting them to take care of you, you bring them and you want your wife to be working 2 jobs. You want your wife to be the one who's making sure the credit is good. You want your wife to be the one who's dropping and picking the kids. You want your wife to do laundry. You want your wife to do all these things. We are not in Nyando Chebere village. We are in America. We are in London. We are in Mombasa. We are not in the village. So if you're going to use the village mentality, my brothers, you're going to be on the street and you will die and we will take you back. Okay? So number 1, be grateful. Men, if you're lucky to get a wife, be grateful that you have a wife. Start having gratitude, because a lot of you are not grateful. You think because you are an American citizen, you brought a woman from home, you brought her here, now you think she is supposed to be providing for you and protecting you from the police. No, 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 no. These women are not to protect you. You are supposed to be the protector. Be grateful that you found a wife. She's not perfect. Some of us, look at us. We are married. Someone could be thinking like, who can marry such a woman? No, because your husband or my husband figured out that, you know what, this is the woman I have. I'm just going to deal with it. Men, learn to acknowledge when you're not in order. Stop fighting weaknesses that you know that this one I'm not doing well. If you're an alcoholic, accept that you're struggling with alcohol. If you're lazy, accept that you're lazy. If you have bad credit, accept that you have bad credit. If you have poor hygiene, some of you are very dirty. Some of our men here are their hygiene is horrible. Accept that your hygiene is poor. If you're overweight, you don't look desirable. Accept that you're not looking desirable. If you're not well groomed, accept. And you know what? Ask your wife in peace, honey, how can you help me get better? Start loving yourself. Don't wait to buy clothes when you're going to Kenya to go please other women. Don't wait to go get a haircut because you're going to Kenya. And let me tell you, the shocking thing about, and when I speak about our men in America are the ones that I know. I don't know about men in Kenya. These men here, you will see them shopping when they're going home. These men here will even get a haircut when they're going home. Why are you grooming yourself? Why are you buying new clothes when you're going home? And when you're here, your hygiene is very poor. If things are falling apart for you, if your marriage is coming to an end, if your marriage looks like it's not good, accept that things are falling apart. You don't owe anybody an explanation. Catch it quickly and see what you can do. All men have this thing we call ego. Every man wants to look like everything is fine. So they put up a face. They want to pretend because they are not talking about it. They want to pretend that all is well. When they lose their jobs, they want to still look like they can still buy alcohol. When they lose their job, they still want to go to the bars they used to go to. They still want to play golf. There is ego that men have, that they want to show people that they are doing well. Don't show people that you are doing well when you are not doing well. Accept that things have fallen apart. Learn to adapt to change when things have gone wrong. Know that things have gone wrong. What can I do? Don't sit there trying to show everybody that everything is going okay and everything is not going okay. Some of you have zero tolerance for stress. Learn to deal with stress. Can you imagine? We leave our villages, we marry you, we adapt to your environment, we deal with all the stresses that is there, and we still create a family. Why is that possible? Because women, we have a network. Women, we have groups. Women hold each other. The organizations women have had for years, they were built so that way we can stick together because we're in a new home that we don't know each other. Now that you're no longer in your village, now that you're in another country, you don't have your uncles and aunties, you're not in your home village, you're in New Jersey. There's nobody who's going to hold you. Women are going to get together and create supportive systems that are going to support them. But our men are not doing that. If anything, they meet and drink and go home. They are not staying together to help one another. Men are not talking amongst each other to tell each other, my friend, you need to fix your credit. My friend, don't drink too much every weekend. My friend, don't be cheating on your wife. My friend, you need to do this, you need to do that. All men are just there. They're just looking at each other. They don't want in anybody's business. Yeah? Some of us forget who took us from the village. Yes, not all men. Today, I'm just speaking to the men. Okay? You don't need everybody's approval. Be realistic with your friends. Tell them, I no longer have a job. I have to go home and help my wife with the kids. I need to do this. I need to do that. Women are not going to sit there and try to save you from your friends. Women are not going to go and remove you from where you're drinking every weekend. Men, you need to learn to make more productive choices. You're not going to drink every weekend and expect your wife to sit there because you brought her, you married her. Men, you're not going to sit there and eat the whole paycheck every time you're paid and expect your wife to sit there and just support you and say, you know what, I'm already married. Men, you're not going to sit there and watch TV all day without starting laundry, without starting dinner. You can't do anything. You want to watch Sports Center all day and expect your wife to leave the job to come home and cook and clean to feed you, and you're watching TV all day. Men, you need to change your ways. Change is constant. We are not going to sit there and start feeling sorry for someone who's making bad choices. Learn from your mistakes. If you married a first wife, she left. You married a second wife, she left. You married a third wife, she left. You need to ask yourself why. Ask yourself, what should I do different so I can have a different outcome? Do you know what you want? I have seen Kenyan men, okay, in this country that have gone through a divorce and they are as strong as they come. Why? Because these men maintained their identity, maintained who they are. These women, you cannot hire. I speak to some of them and they have this kind of mindset. Penny, I cannot marry a woman. I cannot hire an employee, okay? Bring her to my space and then now she's going to turn around and overturn my company. Men, that's the mindset you need to have. You cannot bring a woman into your life and then now you're sitting there crying that this woman has disrupted you. You are the one who hired this woman. You are the one who brought this woman to your life. If you had your, Americans say, shit together, if you had it together, when she's mischievous, you fire her and hire another person. A wife is an employee that is brought into an organization. A wife is somebody that you go somewhere and interview. You're dating several girls before you picked one girl to marry. A wife is somebody that you looked at and said, you know what, this woman is going to make me proud. A wife is your assistant. You cannot bring a wife and then you sit there and demasculine yourself and start crying that she did this, she did. You are crying like a small child because you lost yourself. Claim yourself back. A man is a protector. A man is a provider. A man is the root of the family. A man is the head of the home. How is a woman that you brought from somewhere, like my home and my husband's home is like 8 hours away. How am I going to go to Mbuinzau and disrupt my husband totally? And now my husband is an alcoholic. And then he's going to tell people, you know, my wife really messed me up. You know, my wife this, you know, my wife this. Actually, it won't be wife. My ex-wife this, my ex-wife that. How do you bring a woman and then she disrupts you because you did not have a foundation? You understand? Have that foundation. So when this woman is ready to do all these things, you're just going to fire her. Just let her go. Because you have it together. When you start going through a crisis in an organization, you need to have an evacuation plan. You need to have your plan B. You cannot marry a woman thinking that everything is going to be okay. So when she leaves you now, your company collapses. No. Every organization has a plan of action. What happens if this happens? How am I going to support myself? You can't sit there and start crying that, oh, I brought her, oh, I took her to school. Oh, you're crying left, right, center. Find solutions to your problems. Because you have nothing to yourself. You lost yourself. You've lost everything that you're supposed to have. Now you're blaming somebody that you chose to marry because you did not take care of yourself. Self-care is very, very important. I have seen, and let me tell you, I have seen literally men that I know being humiliated by women that I know. And I'm sitting there, I'm hoping that this man can just stand up and tell this woman, this is not acceptable. These men sit here, the men that I know, I'm looking at them, they are sitting there and they're acting like nothing happened. And they're blaming alcohol. So the men are drinking, the women are drinking, and they are seated somewhere. And a woman is humiliating the father to her children, her husband, bringing this man down, like saying the most negative things about the man. And the man is acting like nothing happened. He says nothing. He's just there. And she continues to talk trash. I have seen women here in America chase the husband's family out of their homes. Chase the mother. I've had so many stories. Minnesota, Texas, New Jersey, where a mother or parents of the man who are thrown out of the house. The woman says, I don't want you in here with your family. I married you, I did not marry your parents. I don't want your parents here. And these parents are thrown out like nothing happened. Tell me, who's to blame here? Who is the head of that home? If this man was hardworking enough, if this man had good credit, he will just get up, go buy another house, and move with his parents and leave this woman in that house. How hard is that? It's not hard. But because these men don't have it together, they just sit there and get humiliated. These men don't have nothing. Even just to protect themselves verbally, they cannot. Because they have nothing in their name. They came to this country. They refuse to adapt to change. They refuse to go to school. They refuse to have financial independence. They have nothing. So they are here crying that the women destroyed them. Rogers, how are you? They are crying. And then before you know it, they slip into depression. Before you know it, they become alcoholics. Men, the same way women are working hard is the same way you can work hard. We cannot do without you guys. We need you guys. We need our men. I have 4 boys. I have a husband. I have brothers. I have uncles. The men today are afraid of women. And you know you're afraid of women because women have financial success. Money has nothing to do with the self-love and self-care. Money cannot replace a father. Money cannot replace a husband. In this country back in the day, and it's still going on, the African Americans have been put in a way that they are told, if you're legally married, you don't get benefits. And the system here has been set to make black women to be so hostile. For them to get benefits from the state, they have to try everything they can to put the men down. So if you want to get welfare, you can't be married. So they are not married. If you want this, they tell you you have to do this. You're conditioned. We've been conditioned to put our men down. We've been conditioned. The system is favoring us to give us all this help to replace a man. An African American man has been replaced by services from the state. An African American man, an average one, is in jail, has this moving violation, drinking and driving. An African American man is out of the home. Now, come to our Kenyan men now. They have drunk driving. They don't have good credit. They have no savings. Their hygiene is bad. Their health is bad. Now, they tell you, call the police. You get a little argument, you call the police. When the police come, the poor man from Nyando Chebire is put in a pingu and he goes to jail. Right? You go to jail, your husband goes to jail, he will never remove that from his record. We cannot blame these women because these women came in and adapted to the system very fast. Okay? If you adapt to an environment so fast, you're going to do what everybody is doing. If they're calling the cops, you're going to call the cops. If they're doing this, you're going to do it. Women adapt to change very fast. But you know what? The man that was wise that stepped in this America, the man that stepped in Mombasa, the man that stepped in Nairobi and learned the system and adapted to the system is doing fine. A woman can't come and tell you your family can't be in my house. A woman come and tell you your friends cannot be in my house. They are calling them my house because they are paying for the house. You're supposed to be the provider. It's your home. You're supposed to be the protector to protect your wife. That is what men are meant to do. That is their home. How do I go to my husband's home in the village of Mbwinzau I left my home. I go to Mwinzao. Picture this. And when I tell you guys Mwinzao for my American friends, is where I'm married to. How do I go to my husband's home and ask his villagers not to come to my house? If my husband marries me and he has a house that he pays for, it's his house. For Americans, your husband has married you. He's the provider. It is his home. You move from where you are. You move into his house. He's living his life. How do I go to that house and tell my husband now, moving forward, I don't want your friends in my house. Moving forward, I don't want your mother in my house. Moving forward, I don't want your sisters in my house. How does that happen? Because men have failed to be providers and to protect their families. Men have lost it. Their identity. They don't even know who they are. They are blaming the women. God created Adam first with everything and put him in the Garden of Eden. Whether you believe the story or you don't believe in it, the man came first, placed, full swing, everything was there. And then God waited, how many days? 7 days. So that's why most of the time, the age difference between a man and a woman is big. God did all this creation and then brought the woman and put the woman there. He put him to sleep first and went and created Eve and brought Eve there. That is the beginning of man from those of us who are Christians. So you men who are having these pity parties, crying, remember you are the head of the home. Remember we can't do without you. Remember we need you. Remember you don't need everybody's approval. Remember you don't have to show people you're doing well. Remember if you're struggling, accept. Don't be ashamed when things fall apart. When things fall apart, you brought your wife. You married a wife and you thought she was everything and she disappoints you. Always know that when you hire, you can fire. Always remember that you know what? Your wife is an employee. You don't bring an employee to your business. I have a business. I cannot now hire someone after I hired them and they're working in my shop to sell my clothes. And then all of a sudden, I'm crying the employee is taking my business. Men, don't let your employee take over your empire. Fire them and get another employee. Validate yourself. Take the pride, the way you proposed to her, the way you asked to marry her, the way you felt good to even approach this woman. Hire another employee. Don't dwell in the bad employee. Bad employees are fired. You cannot keep a bad employee in your business. Your family is your business. Your marriage is your business. You're supposed to make sure that your organization is running. When you hire a woman, when you bring a woman into your life, you need to give her orientation. You need to give her policies and procedures. You need to tell her what is acceptable at your place of work and what's not acceptable. You need to give her an accountability log. You need to give her everything that companies give you. Take the same mindset and put it in your house. You are the employer. Your wife is the employee. Guide her so she can run the home. Don't start crying. You lose your company. You go in a basement, you start crying from there. You go in a warehouse, you start crying from there. You go to your sister's house, you start crying from there. Why are you crying when it is your organization that you started? You chose to marry this woman. Okay? Stand firm, men. I was here to talk to you guys. I have to go. To remind you that you know what? You are the head of the home. We cannot do without you. We cannot start a family. We cannot run a family without you. And you women, let me tell you, for those of you who unfortunately have had children with this man, your days are numbered. If you think you're going to mistreat your husband, if you think that you love your children more than your husband, if you think your children are going to be better than your husband, I want to remind you, your days are numbered. Those children that you love are the same children, are the same way your husband's parents loved him. Before you met your husband and ended up the way you are, he was somebody's child. Your days are numbered. When you're mistreating somebody's child, or you're really being bad to your husband, remember that you have children with this husband, and whatever nonsense that your husband is giving you, those children are going to give you. And don't say nobody told you. Be as mindful as you can that you know what? One day your children are going to grow, and one day they are going to marry somebody. Be kind to these men when they are struggling. Hold their hand, validate them, remind them that you know what? Thank you for marrying me. Be caring to these men. Men need us, and we need the men. Okay? Thank you for watching. Please share this video and go to YouTube and subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless you.